the commission goes to the one who invited this user. That's why, friends, use this new feature. It allows you to earn, even if you don't have a referral structure inside Alpha Van. With the help of Alpha Colerling, you can create a good source of passive income for yourself and earn on it. So let's move on. So the button is such a pyramid. This is our transition to the graph. That is, by clicking on it, you will open a graph in a decoder. A decoder with a geoco terminal also of your choice. It's all customized in the settings. Then we see the buy-sell buttons. We have the most intuitive interface. Accordingly, in order to buy a token, we choose to buy. Then we choose the type of order. It is a market, limit, or alpha order to choose from. We buy the market one according to the market. That is, we enter the amount there. Let's say we want to buy for $10, the amount is converted into Salons, or we use the quick buy buttons. And we can also create a take profit or a stop loss order for this order. Well, not either, together, respectively. You just turn on, enter a value, for example, on X2, fix half. And what happens? That is, when we click exchange, we have a purchase on the market. We bought a token for $10, and we are already creating sell orders. That is, we see here is a limit sale, PAMFN, when the price will be 0, 3 zeros, 40. Also, when you purchase, you receive a Telegram notification. In other words, please note, a notification has come that a PAMFN token was purchased on the market. The amount we bought with, the amount in the salons, how many tokens we received, the average price, and what capitalization was at that moment. There is also a contract attached here. Here we can already open the token chart, or open an open trade, and a NUP. It means that we will have a corresponding menu for buying this token. So I remind you that we have created a limit order for the sale of this token. That is, when the price is twice as high there from our entry point, we will sell half of the position. Here, if we want to sell a token, we accordingly choose also to sell, market. Here we enter the number of tokens or the dollar amount that we want to sell and click exchange. But if we want to sell at a higher price, then we can place a limit order. How does it work? Just set the value of the price at which you want to sell. Well, let's write there, for example, 008. This is 132% of the current one. And let's say we sell 10%. We click Create Order. We have created a limit order for sale. Here is also the amount that you will receive approximately when your order is triggered. And the third type of order that we have in the sell column is also a stop loss. Here you can create it separately, but now I wanted to talk about the alpha order. Our unique development, which, oh look, we have triggered a limit order. Here, pay attention to the left. Let's turn now. In other words, he has now shown it in a demonstration. We just reached the X2 token. We sold half of it. It rolled back a little and is now growing again. Here I have clearly shown you how market and limit orders work. Now let's go back to alpha orders again. This is our development. The alpha order allows you to take more profit from the market. That is, for example, if you place a limit order, then you bought $1 there, set to sell 2 at a time. And you can place an alpha order with a price range, that is, firm and 2, and in this range, you have a position fixed on a rollback. How does it work? In other words, let's look at the example of this token. We have a capitalization of 360,000. The first thing we need when choosing an alpha sell order, we choose the range of the level we set by price or by capitalization. I'm actually more comfortable with capitalization if the price has a large number of zeros there. If the price equivalent there is more than $1, well, like the Trump token, for example, there, then it is easier to navigate by price. So I'm removing by capitalization. We have a capitalization of 400 now. Let's choose that, let's say, firm 1 million capitalization. I'm ready to start fixing. The upper threshold is basically suggested to me to automatically select. I'll just set the range to an intermediate step of 10%. This means that the capitalization of 1 million, 1,100,000, 1,200,000, 1,300,000, 1,400,000 levels will be set. And when the price breaks through them, when the price rises, your position will not be closed. It will pass these levels, which we have set in the alpha order. And when the price reaches a peak, it will start to turn around to the nearest level, which it will find. There you will fix the position. Thus, you sold according to the alpha order. There, for example, they bought $1, sold not 2, but 3.5. That is, it reached their 389, began to turn around, reached the level 3 and 5, which you had inside the alpha order. And you fixed the position. Here is one of the examples from our community. That is, everyone remembers Token Trump. And there was a moment in the middle of the first day. Well, it started at night. The next day, it turns out. There was a sharp pump. There was something in the area there from $28 something to $45, almost by one candle grew. Well, this is a straight sharp pump. There was a large number of people who came in for large sums. We had guys from our community put up a sell order, put an alpha order in the range of $30 to $60. As a result, we closed the position at 42. Here, taking a good profit. That's why you use an alpha order. This is a very effective tool to take more profit from the market. It also works for purchase. It's just that here you choose capitalization, set the value of the upper threshold, an intermediate step, and well, the value of how much you want to sell. Here, there is a more custom option, that is, to fine-tune the alpha order. This is when you set the upper threshold. Well, that is, let's say we have capitalization there. And we are looking at buying now. Well, let's capitalize their 200,000, and we set the lower threshold there. For example, 100,000. We put 5 levels between them. Let's maybe have 4 now of some kind. Well, let's let there be 3 levels. And we get a capitalization of 100,000, 150, 200 alpha levels, alpha order levels. All that remains for us is to choose an action to reach the lower threshold. Here, it will be auto-closing. This means that as soon as it reaches the lower level, you immediately have a position. You have an alpha warrant running. That is, in this case, you will enter the position. Waiting for a reversal means that if we break through our lowest level, and we are considering buying now, we will go lower. And on a reversal, when the lowest level is broken through again, you will enter the position. In other words, the order will work. And waiting for the best price means that when the price goes even lower than your lowest threshold was set, new levels are built up further. Here, alpha builds these levels by itself, and you will again enter the position on the reversal. That is, when the level is broken, there will be a rollback, the chart will go in the other direction, and your level will be broken. And the position will be fixed, well, or you will enter the position. In this case, if you choose to expect the best price, you should choose an additional intermediate step. That is, if we have a step here, well, every 10.5% there. Here we can set an intermediate step smaller. For example, every 5. So we can create it accordingly, but we need to choose the value of how much we will borrow. Let's take $1. And click Create an Order. Everyone, look, we have as the price moves in our orders, you see, the scale fills up more or less. That is, as soon as it is completely red, it means that the order will work for us. Here, accordingly, the less it is painted over, the further it is from the execution of our order. Here is the trade section in total we have sorted out. This all works in all networks that are supported inside AlphaDex. There is also an option to buy and sell through quick orders. That is, we have a token contract. Yes, we can simply send this contract to AlphaVan chat, and we will receive information about the token. You see, even I was still buying and selling this token. It will also display more information about how much you bought, how much you sold, and your panel. That is, in this case, I have 140%. By the way, we can now generate a beautiful card, Share a Panel. Here you can click Share in the history, or you can click Share PNL. And this generates for you inside the bot these pencil case cards, where your entry point, the current price of the token. The amount of time in the transaction is displayed there, and accordingly, at the bottom right, a code for registration with your referral link. Here, there is a variant of vertical, there is a variant of horizontal pictures. We're moving on. Accordingly, when you send a contract to the bot, you will be sent information. And you just have to choose the amount of quick purchases at the bottom, or click Buy